You know that person who sits quietly while everyone else is laughing, opening gifts, singing carols? They're not just introverted. They're not just tired. They might be emotionally flatlined in a way that reveals something darker about how their brain processes joy. And I'll show you exactly why in the next 20 seconds. Why it matters. Because emotional numbness on culturally significant moments isn't about hating Christmas. It's about a psychological shutdown that bleeds into every area of your life, relationships, and decision-making capacity. Anhedonia activation. This is the first thing happening. Anhedonia. The clinical term for when your brain loses the ability to feel pleasure from things that should bring pleasure. Picture this. You're sitting at the dinner table. Turkey, laughter, lights everywhere. Your family's asking if you're okay. You say yes. But inside, nothing. Not sadness, not joy, just static. What's happening is your brain's reward system, the dopamine pathways. They've gone quiet. Overstimulation from phones, work stress, chronic disappointment. They've burned out the circuits that let you feel good. Here's the fix: dopamine fasting. 1 day a week, cut out your phone, sugar, easy dopamine hits. Let your brain recalibrate what reward actually means. But here's where it gets worse. Emotional blunting. Not anhedonia, different beast. Emotional blunting is when you can still recognize that something should make you happy, but the emotional response is muted. Like watching a movie through frosted glass. Imagine, your nephew runs up to you with a drawing he made just for you. Big smile, pure excitement. You look at it and think, that's nice. But you don't feel nice. You feel like you're acting. This happens because of prolonged stress or certain medications, SSRIs especially. Your emotional range compresses. Highs flatten, lows flatten. Everything becomes beige. The consequence? You start avoiding situations where emotion is expected because faking it exhausts you. The fix: talk to your doctor if you're on medication. If it's stress, you need to physically discharge it. Run, lift, scream into a pillow. Trapped emotion stays trapped until you move it. And it compounds with the next pattern: festive comparison loop. You're comparing your internal experience to everyone else's external performance. Here's the scene. Everyone's posting their perfect Christmas morning. Matching pajamas, kids screaming with joy. You look at your own life and think, why don't I feel like that? But here's the truth. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. Psychologists call this social comparison bias. It distorts reality, makes you think your emotional flatness is a personal failure, when really, half those people posting are just as numb as you. They're just better at performing. What it does to your brain: creates shame spirals. Shame blocks vulnerability. Vulnerability is required for connection. No connection, no joy. Fix it. Delete Instagram on December 24th. Don't check it until the 26th. Just try it. But here's what most people miss: anticipation collapse. You spent weeks, maybe months, imagining how Christmas would feel. The build-up was everything, the fantasy of perfect. Then the day comes, and it's just a day. Scenario: you planned this elaborate dinner, bought the gifts, decorated, the whole thing. And when everyone sits down, you realize you feel nothing. Because the anticipation was the drug. The event itself? Just the come down. Studies show the brain releases more dopamine during anticipation than during the actual reward. That's why the chase feels better than the catch. The damage: you become addicted to fantasy and allergic to presence. The fix: practice micro-presence. 5 seconds. During one moment on Christmas, stop. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice one sound, one smell. Pull yourself into the now. And this connects to something sneaky: obligation overdrive. You're not celebrating. You're performing a duty. Picture it. You're at your third family gathering in 2 days. You don't want to be there, but guilt says you have to. So you show up. Smile. Hug people. Say the right things. But your nervous system knows the truth. You're in threat mode. Social obligation without genuine desire activates the same brain regions as mild stress. What happens? Your body interprets forced social interaction as labor. Joy can't exist in labor mode. The consequence? You associate Christmas with exhaustion instead of rest. Here's the move. Give yourself permission to say no to one thing. Just one. Notice how your body feels when you protect your energy instead of spending it. But even that won't work if you're stuck in grief overlay. Christmas amplifies absence. Someone's missing. Maybe they died. Maybe they left. Maybe the version of yourself you used to be is gone. Here's the image. Empty chair at the table. Everyone's laughing. You're staring at where someone used to sit. And every joke, every song, every tradition feels like it's mocking the hole they left behind. Psychologists call this ambiguous loss, when it's not death, but change. Divorce, estrangement, growing apart. Your brain is trying to celebrate and mourn at the same time. Those are contradictory emotional states. So it just shuts down both. What it creates: emotional paralysis. Can't move forward. Can't stay present. The fix: acknowledge it out loud. I miss them. This feels different now. Don't perform okayness. Let the grief exist next to the celebration. And then there's the pattern nobody talks about. Sensory overload shutbish. Too much input. Your brain hits the circuit breaker. The scene. Lights flashing. Music playing. People talking over each other. Kids screaming. Food smells mixing. Textures. Colors. Everything at once. Your nervous system has a capacity limit. When it's exceeded, especially for people with high sensitivity or neurodivergence, the brain's solution is simple. Shut it all down. You go quiet. You go blank. People think you're bored. You're not. You're in survival mode. What it does: you start associating joyful environments with overwhelm, so you avoid them. Then you're lonely. Then you're numb. The intervention: sensory breaks. 10 minutes alone in a quiet room every 2 hours. Non-negotiable. This feeds into meaning erosion. Christmas lost its meaning, and so did you. Imagine, you're going through the motions, buying gifts because you're supposed to, attending events because it's tradition. But when someone asks why you celebrate, you have no answer. When rituals become robotic, they stop feeding the soul. Neuroscience shows meaning activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that generates fulfillment. Without meaning, you're just executing tasks. The damage: life becomes a series of obligations, and obligations feel like prisons. Fix it. Create one new tradition that actually matters to you. Even if it's weird, even if it's alone. Do something on Christmas that reflects who you actually are, not who you're expected to be. But here's where it gets psychological. Identity dissonance. Who you are now doesn't match who you're expected to be at Christmas. The scenario: you go home, and suddenly you're treated like the kid you were 10 years ago. Your family still sees that version, but you've changed. You've grown. You've suffered. You've evolved. So you're sitting there in a body that doesn't fit the role anymore. Psychologists call this identity invalidation. When your current self isn't acknowledged, your brain experiences it as erasure. What it does: creates internal conflict. You can't be authentic, can't be seen, so you dissociate. The solution: set one boundary that honors your current self. It can be small. I don't drink anymore, so I'm not toasting. I need an hour alone in the morning. Something that says, I exist as I am now. And it layers with attachment avoidance. You learned early that emotional investment leads to disappointment. Picture this. You're a kid. You get excited for Christmas. You imagine the perfect gift, the perfect day. And it doesn't happen. Maybe your parents fought. Maybe the gift was wrong. Maybe someone ruined it. So your brain made a rule. Don't get excited. Excitement leads to letdown. That's avoidant attachment in action. You protect yourself from disappointment by refusing to hope. What it creates: a life where you never let yourself want anything, because wanting hurts. The consequence: you become emotionally anorexic, starving yourself of desire to avoid hunger. The fix: practice wanting small things. I want this coffee to taste good. I want this song to make me feel something. Start small. Rebuild the muscle. Now here's where it gets existential. You've realized Christmas is a transaction, and it broke something in you. The scene: you're buying gifts you can't afford for people who'll forget them in a week. You're watching companies exploit nostalgia to sell you joy in a box, and you feel disgusted. Because somewhere along the way, you woke up to the machinery, the commercialization, the performance. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. What it does to your brain: creates cynicism. Cynicism is a defense mechanism. It protects you from being fooled, but it also kills wonder. The damage: you lose access to childlike joy because you're too aware of the game. The way through: separate the system from the symbol. Christmas as a capitalist machine can be true. Christmas as a moment to practice love can also be true. Hold both. And this connects to loneliness masquerading as preference. You tell yourself you prefer being alone on Christmas. But here's the real scene. You're sitting at home. Everyone else is with family. You've convinced yourself you chose this, that you're above the chaos, that you're an independent thinker. But late at night, when it's quiet, there's a whisper. Am I okay? Psychologists distinguish between chosen solitude and defensive isolation. One is restorative. The other is protective. If you're isolating because connection feels dangerous, that's not preference. That's a wound. What it does: you start believing your own story. I don't need people. And then you become unreachable. The fix: test it. Reach out to one person. If it feels good, it was isolation. If it feels right to stay alone, it was solitude. But the deepest layer is this: existential awareness. You feel nothing because you're awake to the fragility of everything. Here's the moment. You're watching your family laugh. And suddenly you're aware that everyone at this table will die, that this moment is temporary, that nothing lasts. And instead of making it precious, it makes it pointless. That's existential dread, the awareness of impermanence creating paralysis instead of presence. Philosophers call this the terror of the finite. When you realize life is short, it can either make you cherish it or make you shut down. What it does: numbs you to protect you from the pain of eventual loss. The consequence: you lose the moment trying to avoid losing the moment. The move: flip the script. This is temporary doesn't mean this doesn't matter. It means this matters more.